campus of the illustrious North Carolina A&T University for CAA baseball action. Today is the first game of a three-game series between our visitors from nearby Elon, North Carolina, the Elon Phoenix, going against duel North Carolina A&T Aggies. Before we start the action tonight, let's meet our starting lineups, starting with the Phoenix.
6% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it.
Welcome into War Memorial Stadium on the campus of North Carolina A&T State University as the Aggies welcome in the Elon Phoenix from right down the road for a three-game weekend series. This is the second three-game series of the season between these two teams, with Elon taking two of the first three meetings earlier this season. The Aggies will look for payback this weekend. Alongside my partner Corey Lima, I'm Ryan Stone. Corey, this is the second series these two teams have had against each other this season, and it's a huge series this time around. Both teams needing to gain momentum in the conference standings.
Yeah, both teams at the bottom of that Southern Division, but starting to pick up and play more quality baseball. The Aggies are hot, having won the 4 out of their last 5 ball games. They actually won game 1, the Friday night game at Elon, and then played 2 close games against the Phoenix and just didn't come out on the winning end. But tonight it's going to be a good one on Good Friday.
Yep, should make for a good game. Elon also trying to get back to their winning ways. They've lost 10 of their last 12, so a big series for both of these teams. We'll have the first pitch coming up next here on FloCollege.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T. Always doing, never done.
Back into War Memorial Stadium as we get ready to get things underway here between the Aggies and the Phoenix. Alongside Corey Lima, I'm Ryan Stone. Gavin Centel will get the start on the mound tonight for North Carolina A&T. On the season, Centel with a record of 1-4, has an ERA of 9 and 22 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts to 8 walks. Behind the plate for him, it'll be Luis Gomez, first base Tyler Smith, Luis Acevedo at second, JT Taylor at short, Boaz Harper gets the start at third. In the outfield going left to right, Andrew Tinsley, Nick DiCarlo, and Bruce Weiss. First batter for Elon will be Jackson Alford, who's having a terrific year for the Phoenix. He takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Oh, Ryan will get a chance to take a look at the impact players that I picked. I could have picked any one of these Aggies starters. Gavin Centel on the hill tonight for the Aggies. The Aggies are going to need a strong performance from all 3 starters in their starting rotation, beginning with Mr. Centel here. The Aggies, as a team, really putting together a nice little run here. As you see, our first impact pitcher of the weekend is going to be Mr. Diego Barrett for the Aggies, a preseason all-conference pick. And his relief mates, Aiden Hansen, are going to have their hands full.
Alford rips one out towards left field, and that will drop in for a base hit. That's going to take him up to around 350 on the season in terms of average. And this is where Jackson Alford really excels, is on the base pass. 23 of 26 on stolen bases this season. He is 5th in the country in stolen bases.
Well, we typically do the pitchers first, but we'll take a look at the impact players. For the Elon Phoenix, Mr. Alford just notching that base knock. And as you mentioned, he is the road runner as he takes off immediately.
But Hall reaches and pokes one into left field. Alford is going to make the turn and go to third. And the Phoenix are cooking here early with runners on the corners and no outs.
Well, we're talking about Jackson Alford, and we'll take a look at the second impact player for the Phoenix, Mr. Brian Duroff, who we'll see in a second. Really bolster that Elon Phoenix offense, as you see Alford already standing on third base after a base hit and a nice little hit and run play call by the Phoenix dugout. And as you mentioned, they are cooking early. Gavin Centel, strike thrower, is going to give his defense an opportunity to make some plays for him, but the Phoenix able to, 2 quick base knocks to left field. So we'll see how the Aggies defend this first and third situation and see if that Phoenix runner takes off.
Centel misses high and in there for ball 2. 2-0 count here to Brian Duroff, who's hitting .274 on the season. 3 home runs, 21 RBI for Duroff.
Well, that's why he was named an impact player. He leads the Phoenix in RBIs. He's got an RBI situation right here.
And he rips this one down the left field line, and that's going to drop in fair. 1 run will come in to score. That ball rolls all the way into the corner. They will hold the runner from first at third, and it's an RBI double here for the Phoenix. 22 RBI on the year now for Duroff, and that puts runners on second and third, and still no outs.
These impact players having an immediate impact. Duroff with a nice squared up ball there down the left field line, driving in a run. So Centel and the Aggies are going to have to bear down here and play some solid defense.
Now Gar Hindle, the cleanup hitter, will step in. The freshman takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Hindle hitting .200 on the season with 4 RBI.
Well, take a look at the key to the series for both teams.
Hindle dribbles one towards third. Only play is going to be at first. Harper able to get the out, but the Phoenix tack on another run, and it's 2-0 with a runner on third now.
Well, that's a great example. The Aggies are going to have to continue to field the baseball. Great play there by Boaz Harper, charging that with a little spin. And the Elon Phoenix already implementing Dr. Lima's key to the series, striking early and often. The Aggies tend to play not as aggressively from behind. They're going to have to play out front, try to play from out front. And the Phoenix already demonstrating that they are implementing some of those things needed to win a series.
Jose Mariano fouls one out of play to the right side as the count evens up at 1-1. Mariano, the junior first baseman, hitting .213 on the season with a home run and 14 RBI on the year. Transfer from College of the Canyons. He'll chop one over towards first. It's going to go over the head of Tyler Smith into right field, and that's going to make it 3-0 for Elon. And they've just really, for the most part, just been hitting the ball where nobody is. That's just kind of a fluky hit there that time that ends up driving in another run.
Well, we talked about how hard the clay is right there in front of the plate. A lot of high choppers here at the WAR. And another one right there as see the Phoenix, batter, beat it into the ground and just getting over the head of Tyler Smith at first base.
First fastball misses up here to Brent Smith, the third baseman who's hitting .273 on the season with 2 RBI. This is just his 4th start of the year.
Well, again, if you're the Aggies, you just continue to field the baseball, get as many outs as you can when they're routine. They are a team that tends to respond when the opposing team puts runs on the board. The Aggies will be facing, as we see a base potential hit and run here.
Gomez going to throw that one from his knees. Didn't have a chance on that one. Count does go 1-2 here, though, to Smith.
So the Phoenix already calling some play calls, a hit and run. As you see, Jose Mariano sneaking a stolen base on a failed hit and run attempt.
And that pitch misses up, and the count goes to 2-2.
So the Phoenix trying to make a statement here in the first inning.
Here's the 2-2. Fouled off by Smith. Keeps himself alive. Count will stay at 2-2.
The Phoenix in the batter's box so far, swinging aggressively at all pitches right around the zone. 2-strike count here for Gavin Centel.
2-2. Gets him looking on the inside corner there for strike 3. And it's now 2 away here in the top of the first. That'll bring Gavin Bogdanchik to the plate. The DH. Bogdanchik is a grad student from Wellington, Florida. Played at Charleston Southern before transferring to Elon. Runner on second here with 2 outs. Bogdanchik takes outside there for ball 1. Hitting .245 on the season with 6 RBI.
That must be part of, when you're born and you got a cool name like that, you're destined to be a baseball player.
Chopper hit towards short, and JT Taylor just misplayed it. That ball eats him up into left field, and it'll drive in another run. 4-0 here for Elon. I don't know how you necessarily score that. It's not going to be an error, I don't think, but it probably should be. I think he misplayed this ball.
Another one, it hits that lip right there. Yeah. So it's another one of those high choppers here that are, kind of part of playing here at the WAR, and then it hits that lip of the infield and takes a little funky little bounce on JT Taylor.
I just think that's a ball you got to play off that first bounce.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to have a chance to get him off after the second bounce anyway.
Right. Yeah, was not anticipating it hitting that lip.
That pitch misses outside there to Haidu, and the count evens up at 1-1. 5 hits in this first inning already for Elon. Definitely not the start the Aggies wanted from Gavin Centel.
Well, again, Gavin Centell's one of these guys, man. I watched him pitch the last year or so. Again, very smooth operator, throws a lot of strikes. He just these little hits, these little high chop hits, hitting the lip right there on JT Taylor's, sneaking into the outfield. He has a lot of misfortune when he's pitching, and
that one fouled back. The count still at 1-2. Here to Jake Haidu, who's hit 264 on the season with a home run and 18 RBI.
There have been a few nice little, line balls, but he's a starter, and Gavin Centell, might not give up another run the rest of the game. He's one of those types of pitchers. You have a bad inning. Sometimes that first inning is the worst inning, but you tend to settle down, and the ball will start bouncing your way. But probably needs to implement some sort of superstitious practice.
1-2, got him swinging there for strike 3. That will finally end the top of the first inning, but the Elon Phoenix do major damage. 4 runs on 5 hits. The Aggies will come to the plate for the first time in the bottom of the first inning. Next on FloCollege.
6,000 universities. Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T, always doing, never done.
Bottom of the first inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Brian Strange, the grad student, will get the start on the mound tonight for Elon. 4.58 ERA, 1-3 record. 44 strikeouts to just 14 walks in 39 1/3 innings for Strange. He is having himself a really good year. That record may not necessarily say that, but in terms of the numbers, he's been really good.
Well, that's why he was named as an impact pitcher of the weekend. I named 2 Aggie relievers because I think they're going to have to come out of that bullpen to be successful. But as we see, R.J. Lekowski, the other impact pitcher for the Phoenix. But Strange has been the dominant guy for the Phoenix. He's the ERA leader, the strikeout leader on the team, the Friday night guy. And he's up 4 runs right now, so he's going to have an impact tonight. We see some impact players on the Aggie side. Bruce Weish, who has been really hitting the ball, driving in a lot of runs for the Aggies. Again, that 4 spot is up there, but this Aggie team tends to score a lot of runs when they respond. And you've got JT Taylor, his teammate, who has started to pick it up, gotten hot lately. One of those 3 freshmen last year with a lot of accolades. Started the year off slow, but has picked it up for the Aggies defensively and offensively. So I expect those 2 guys in that Aggie lineup to be a tough out for Mr. Strange here, who's going to lead off or start here for the Phoenix.
Strange will throw to Nate Sterling behind the plate. First base, Jose Mariano. Second base is Gar Hendel. Shortstop, Jake Haidu. Third base is Brent Smith. In the outfield going left to right, it is Duroff and then Jackson and Hall. First 3 batters up for A&T. It'll be Nick DiCarlo, Andrew Tinsley, and Tyler Smith. Carlo hitting .362 on the season with 9 RBI. Takes that first pitch out of the zone for ball 1.
Yeah, I'm sure the Aggies are happy to see Nick DiCarlo back in the lineup. Took a little brief hiatus over the past weekend, nursing an injury, but back in that leadoff spot, hoping to respond for the Aggies. those that listen to us know that I'm a fan of the shutdown inning, and Brian Strange here with his first shot and shutting the Aggies down.
DeCarlo with a hard hit ball, but right at the second baseman, Hindle. He'll flip over to first, and it's quickly one away here in the bottom half of the first inning. That'll bring Andrew Tinsley to the plate. Tinsley hitting .302 on the season, leads the team in home runs with 4, has 19 RBI on the year, and he's a guy that didn't really get a ton of playing time until a few weeks into the season. This is only his 15th start of the year.
Well, big challenge for the Aggie coaching staff, due to the efforts of assistant coach Billy Funk going out and recruiting a lot of these young men. There are a lot of quality ball players in the dugout. It's tough as a skipper trying to find the best combination, trying to give guys ABs opportunities, and Andrew Tinsley taking full advantage of his opportunities, and one of those Aggie bats that's been hot of late.
Tinsley heading the count 2-0 here, and this is a team in Elon that the Aggies have really struggled with since the two teams got into the CAA with each other. Elon's won 9 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams.
Yeah, they're definitely a good ball club part of.
Check swing here from Tinsley. He's going to kind of die right in front, and the throw is going to be end up hitting Tinsley in the back. So Tinsley going to reach there on, I think they'll call that an infield single, because I think he was going to be safe anyway. But
yeah, we'll check swing, try to check it up. It ends up being a swinging bunt, getting up and digging down the line.
Actually, you maybe call that an error, because I think they would have actually got him, but I think they did call it a hit. So Tyler Smith will step in now.
In the last week and a half or so, you've never really seen this Aggie team, really, feel like even when they're down in ball games, they never press too hard, and they can put a lot of runs up on the board. In fact, I think their last game earlier this week against Gardner Webb, they might have broken a record. They scored 9 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, it was definitely something. It was a long,
with 2 outs.
It was a long first inning.
They scored 9 runs with 2 outs, so they are explosive.
Throw over to first, not in time. Tyler Smith hitting .282 on the season as he stands in. 1 home run, 15 RBI. They've
been aggressive with some play calls as well, but, back to the Phoenix, I've got a few little.
Hard hit ball by Smith will make it through the hole into right field. Tinsley will hold up at second, and it's runners on first and second here now for the Aggies with just 1 out, and Bruce Weish will come to the plate. Weish having a big year, hitting .322, 2 home runs, 24 RBI, and 7 doubles on the season for the sensational sophomore.
Well, he is definitely out of the 3 that had so many accolades last year. All 3 of them kind of started out with, a slower kind of slumpy-like season, but, they've picked it up. Bruce Weish raising that batting average above 300.
Weish takes that one right over the heart of the plate for strike 1.
And they've got, a lot of teammates that have contributed to their most recent success. So here, the Aggies with 2 base runners and 1 out. 1 swing of the bat, it could be a 1-run game when you've got Bruce Weish in the batter's box.
Weish takes that pitch a little low. Count evens up at 1-1. A little bit of a shift on here from Elon with the second baseman Hindle shaded over towards second. Weish swings through on that one, and the count goes to 1-2. Nice pitch from Strange.
Yeah, you know my take on shifts. In fact, the Aggies just beat the shift a second ago. We'll see how it fares, but I haven't really seen it.
1-2, just gets a piece of that one. Keeps himself alive.
Yeah, Bruce Weish is one of those guys with 2 strikes. Always seems to be in the count. Looking rather relaxed and comfortable up there. Seems to have a great understanding of the strike zone. Let's see what Strange goes with.
Here's a 1-2. Got him swinging there for strike 3. Nice pitch from Strange, and it's 2 away here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, Strange with nice tight slider there against Weish.
So now Savoy Edwards will step in here for the Aggies with 2 outs. Edwards hitting .243 on the year, 2 home runs, 17 RBI.
Well, you know, we're just talking about shifts. I've noticed with Savoy Edwards, the center fielder tends to shift to left field. It has proven effective for him, even though I'm somewhat against the shift, but
big swing and a miss there from Savoy Edwards.
He does tend to have one of those swings. He can drive it to the opposite field, but it leaves a big, huge gap there in right center. So if he's able to get around on one and drive it to the right center gap.
Misses up high there. Count evens up at 1-1.
So again, sometimes the shift works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Here's the 1-1. Savoy Edwards takes up high again, and it's now 2-1.
So Strange, really dominant pitcher for the Phoenix. Laboring somewhat here in the first inning. 2-1 count. Good pitch to hit here for Edwards.
Strange with the 2-1. Savoy Edwards swings through again for strike 2. 2-2 count. Brian Strange has gotten quite a few swing and missing strikes in this first quarter.
Yeah, definitely throwing a nice either tight slider. That one seemed to be a changeup. Again, we don't have the radar gun, so we can't really tell the speeds, but off speed.
Here's a 2-2. Got him swinging upstairs there for strike 3. The second strikeout of the inning for Strange. He hangs a 0 in the bottom of the first inning. Elon leading 4-0 as we move to the top of the second inning. Next on FloCollege. Top of the second inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon off to a 4-0 lead as we move into the top of the second. It'll be the 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Phoenix. Sterling, Alford, and Hall due up against Gavin Centel, who gave up 5 hits and 4 earned runs in that first inning. Aggies hoping for a better second inning out of Centel, because we'd certainly like to not blow a ton of their bullpen tonight with a doubleheader coming tomorrow.
Yeah, again, Centel, the strike thrower, they just, put the bat on the ball. A couple little, chinky hits there. Good timing on some hit and run play calls, and the Phoenix had a very productive first inning, but, as we see.
Maybe issue with the wristband, it appears.
Yeah, I think maybe the wristband should just be used when runners are on base. When
I'm in
There's
favor
no
of
runners on base.
anything that speeds it up. I'm in favor of.
I mean, how many times have we talked about?
I almost think it should be a pitch clock violation if they mess up.
You're right. If it's not charged up,
Yeah.
they definitely need to put him on the charger. Seems like we've had that occurrence several times this year.
It seems like it's a every game thing at this point.
Oh, we've got a bunter.
Sterling pulls back there to take strike one on the inside corner. Nate Sterling, the junior from Los Angeles, California, LA Valley Community College transfer. 0-1 count from Centel, and he launches this one back out towards left field, but ranging back, and Tinsley will make the grab. If it was a little more windy, that one might have got out of here, but fortunate for Gavin Centel, it stays in the park and it's one away.
Yep, as we say, he needed that other biscuit this morning.
Jackson Alford, who's 1 for 1 already today, will step in. And speaking of the weather, I mean, it's a little warm, honestly, for early April.
Yeah.
79 degrees here in the second inning in Greensboro. Wind blowing about 8 miles per hour with gusts into the low teens. Jackson Alford is now hitting .351 on the season after that leadoff base hit.
Well, we didn't get a chance to really talk about his impact early in the first inning because he immediately had an impact with a base knock. But definitely the spark plug for the Phoenix.
This is a pretty interesting stat here when you look at this. He's got 34 hits now on the season after that first one. He has scored 26 times this season when if he gets on base, good things happen for this Elon offense.
Well, already having an impact in game one.
Here's the 2-0. Catches the outside corner there for strike one.
Definitely a guy that the Phoenix rely on to get their offense going. So Gavin Centel with one out will need to try to get this.
Swing and a miss there as the count evens up at 2-2 to Alford.
So, Centel having some good fortune there. Nice little pop fly out the left field. He's got 2 strikes.
2-2, check swing, held back there for ball 3. Full count now to Alford. The last thing you want to do is put him on base.
That's true. I mean, he immediately got down the line, so definitely need a strike here. See what he can do with it.
Got him swinging there for strike 3. Nice pitch from Gavin Centel, his 3rd strikeout of the night, and it's now 2 away. And that'll bring Jared Hall to the plate.
Gavin Centel going right after him with a nice tight little breaking pitch there on the outer part of the zone, drawing that swing from Alford. Motivated with 2 outs here in the second inning.
Jared Hall hitting .217 on the season as he steps in. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back for strike 1. Hall, a junior from Canada, played at Bethel University before transferring to Elon. Squares the bunt here and pulls back for ball 1. 1-1 count. Last season at Bethel, he hit .352 with 9 home runs and 38 RBI.
Love the Little League bunt fake right there.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count goes to 2-1.
Boaz Harper, the third baseman, is playing somewhat deep, so it's not necessarily a bad idea by Hall to lay one down.
2-1, got him there with the fastball as the count evens up at 2-2. Nobody on, 2 outs here in the top of the second. 2-2 offering. Got him looking for strike 3. Gavin Centel with 4 strikeouts through 2 innings, and boy, his second inning couldn't have been more different than his first inning. Aggies coming to the plate in the bottom of the second inning. Next on FloCollege.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Smith, and I stopped into my local McDonald's to get my 2 favorite breakfast items on the buy one, get one for $1 breakfast meal. A sausage McMuffin and my hash brown. I'll be back at lunchtime today to get a $5 meal deal featuring a chicken sandwich. Hope to see you at McDonald's soon.
fact. It's Ford Truck Month, and it's the best time to get a great deal on a new Ford truck. From the company that assembles more vehicles, employs more hourly workers, who help make Ford the best-selling truck brand in the Carolinas. It's Ford Truck Month. Get great deals on a huge selection, and that's a fact. Right now, lease a well-equipped 2025 Ford F-150 STX for just $305 a month, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Bottom of the second inning at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro as Brian Strange comes back out on the mound for his second inning of work. He gave up 2 hits in that first inning, but had 2 strikeouts as well. He'll face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, JT Taylor, Luis Gomez, and Boaz Harper, due up for the Aggies.
Well, we've seen a few lineup changes every game from the Aggies. It has started to settle in somewhat, though, with the first 4 or 5 guys. JT Taylor can bolster that bottom part of the lineup there. Typically has hit at the top of the lineup, but batting in that 6th spot, for times like this, leading an inning off, needing to get on the scoreboard, it's a great idea to have somebody there like JT Taylor.
Taylor got off to a really slow start this season for him, but his average is up to 250 on the season, and over his last 5 or 6 games, he's really started to hit the ball better.
Well, again, this game
takes that one on the inside corner there for strike 1.
Has a tendency to do that to you. So JT Taylor finally starting to see the ball a little better.
And he was struggling in the field as well. I mean, I don't know which was impacting the other more, but he really had some uncharacteristic errors earlier in the year. That is settled down.
Part of the game, but definitely a guy that can have an impact on every single game. Starting to do that. I think last year he had maybe 9 or 10 home runs. Doesn't really have any home runs this year, but hitting the ball hard, playing a tough shortstop for the Aggies.
The 1-1. Taylor takes it up. The count goes to 2-1.
So he was named an impact player this weekend for a reason. Starting to really pick his season up. Ahead in the count here. Could potentially see a hard hit ball.
There's a 2-1 from Strange. Catches the outside corner there as the count evens up at 2-2.
Taylor having a quick discussion with the umpire there about that outer part of the zone. Looks like Strange and Sterling.
2-2. This one chopped over towards third, playing it off the second hop and firing it across just in time. There from third is Smith, and it's 1 away.
So you're not really sure where the Phoenix were positioned there. I thought that might sneak through the hole.
Well, they were shifted that way.
So high chopper for the Aggies, but third baseman Smith right there to make the play.
And Luis Gomez now will step in, hitting .333 on the season. Gomez had a pretty nice year at the plate so far.
Yep. Another guy getting a chance to play, starting to settle in behind the dish for the Aggies. A lot of significant blocks, and he's hitting the baseball. So, seems to have earned the starting position behind the dish for the Aggies.
Gomez chops one towards third as well, but it's going to be the shortstop that takes this one deep in the hole and rifles it across in time. Nice play over at short that time for the Phoenix by Haidu, and it is 2 away.
That's a big-time play right there by Haidu. That's deep in the hole. Gomez, not the speediest guy, but, deep in the hole, having to make a long throw over to first just in time.
Threw that on a rope, too. Boaz Harper, the UNC transfer, will step in now, hitting .183 on the season. And it seems like the Aggies are just trying to get one of these third basemen to come alive offensively. And speaking of, Boaz Harper will drive a base hit into left field with 2 outs.
Yeah, Boaz Harper, kind of started the season at second base. And again, another guy that you got to give some ABs to really get him going. Big pickup from the Tar Heels. First pitch swinging right there on a good strike, driving one to left field. So another guy that you've got to try to find some swings for. The Aggies have many of them. There's only 9 positions, though, Ryan. You can't play everybody at the same time.
Acevedo takes that one outside for ball 1.
So Acevedo, one of those younger guys that started the season on the bench and has earned, the opportunity to play every day.
Throw over to first. Nice job keeping that one in front of him there that time by the first baseman Mariano. Count still 1-0 here to Acevedo, who's hitting .212 on the season so far.
Well, we see the Phoenix in another big defensive shift. So all you really need to do is keep your weight back and just kind of push something the other way.
Acevedo fouls that one back. Count evens up at 1-1.
Big, huge hole between the second baseman and the first baseman. So maybe they're pitching him in, but anything on the outer part of the plate with a nice barreled up swing is going to be a base hit through that hole. Choppers included.
1-1. Throw over to first. Acevedo. Wait, the number 9 hitter in the order for the Aggies. Infielder from Winston-Salem. Played at West Forsyth High School.
Well, Boaz Harper over there at first base. Not a big base stealer, but the Phoenix seem to be worried about him.
Still a 2-1 count here to Acevedo as Harper again takes a lead from first. Strange comes set for the 2-1. Acevedo skies one into straightaway center field. Alford will battle the sun here and make the routine grab. So the Aggies get 1 hit but can't do anything with it. 4-0 Elon as we move to the top of the 3rd inning. Next on FloCollege. Top of the 3rd inning at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon out to a 4-0 lead. All of those scored in the 1st inning. Gavin Centel back out on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Had a tough 1st inning. Gave up 5 hits and 4 runs and then didn't give up anything in the 2nd inning. So we'll see what happens here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I mean, when guys, put good swings on balls, they tend to find little little nooks and holes in the defense. But in that 2nd inning, threw some strikes and, guys just kind of hit into outs. I'm sure that's going to be Centel's approach as we got a time from the umpire here.
Nearly tripped calling the timeout. Hey, now, we had an umpire get injured on Tuesday night. We don't need another one getting in.
I know, right? Again,
we're going to get another. I think there was some confusion there on what happened there.
I mean, umpires have it tough. I mean, we were talking about it. The big league umpires are being exposed at the moment with the ABS system. I don't think it'll be part of the college game for a while, but I feel vindicated, Ryan.
I know
that
you
umpires have been terrible forever.
I know you do. On the inside corner there for strike one. 1-1 count.
So Gavin Centel trying to get an understanding of this guy's zone.
Duroff rips one out towards left center field. That will drop in for a base hit here to lead off the top of the third inning. And Duroff's average will continue to climb up into the 280s. Gar Hindle now will step in. Hindle 0 for 1 on the day, hitting 196.
Duroff.
On the season, Duroff is 3 of 3 on stolen base attempts this season. We'll see if they think about sending him here or not.
Well, you know what I'm calling for here.
I know what you're going to say.
But, so far.
He does square the bunt. Pulls back to take ball one. I thought about something today.
Yeah.
In terms of the bunt, with the new extra inning rule in the MLB.
Yeah.
Where the guy starts on second. Why would you not just bunt every time?
That's a phenomenal question.
That's what the throwdowns and no throw going to come actually, but that's a strike to Hindle and a 1-1. Like just get the guy to third and
just bunt him over.
We'll bunt him over to third, and then you get the opportunity for a RBI ground out, RBI sac fly. Like I don't understand why you wouldn't just do that every time.
Hey, look, I'm in 100% agreement with you. That's my favorite play in the game.
Yeah. 1-1. Hindle does put the bunt down, but it rolls foul, so the count goes 1-2.
Yeah, Hindle trying to be a tad perfect on that one. Looked like he was trying to place it right on that line. Love the idea, though. That's going to draw the third baseman, making it easier for Duroff to get over there to third base. Not really a play at third base if it's bunted over there. If you bunt it back to the pitcher, you might be able to get Duroff.
Centel with the pickoff move. Trying to keep him close. 1-2 count here to Hindle. The runner on second and no outs.
Well, opposing teams have been aggressive on the base paths. A good idea by the Aggies.
Here's the 1-2. Got him looking for strike 3. Big punch out there from Gavin Centel. That's his 5th strikeout, and it's 1 away.
Yeah, right there on the outer part of the plate. It looks like Hindle didn't like the call.
So Mariano now will step in. He's 1 for 1 on the day with an RBI. Hitting .222 on the season. Fouls that first pitch off. Out of play to the right side. Count goes 0-1.
Yeah, Centel just not bothered. Duroff hitting a nice little line drive. Get the inning started. But getting ahead of this batter.
This one ripped by Mariano out towards left field, but he hits it too close to Andrew Tinsley. It makes the grab 2 away.
Yeah, another hard hit ball, but Tinsley in the place to be, making the catch.
That might be a little bit of karma for some of those fluky hits in the first inning there, because that's a ball that I feel like most of the time is going to be a hit.
Yeah, I thought it was going to get down, but it had enough air under it for Tinsley to make the grab. So 2 outs. Centel looking to possibly get out with another scoreless inning.
Centel pops the mitt to the inside there. 1-0 count here to Brent Smith, who's hitting .250 on the season.
All it takes is to string together 3 or 4 good innings.
Breaking ball to the inside corner as the count evens up to 1-1.
You want to give your offense an opportunity put something up there. So we got the window open now, a little louder in the press box here.
1-1. This one is ripped back out to right field. Weish backtracks, makes the grab, and that will end the top of the third inning. Phoenix get 1 hit, but don't bring any runs home. Elon leading 4-0 as we move to the bottom of the third inning. Next on FloCollege.
Why choose North Carolina A&T? We graduate more African American students in engineering, journalism, liberal arts, and agriculture than any other campus anywhere, period. Our grads earn more right out of school than all but one other UNC system peer. And 96% of Aggie alums say they wish they can do it all over again. Can you feel the pride? You will. A&T. Always doing, never done.
Bottom of the third inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. 4-0 Elon as we move into the bottom of the third inning. And it's Brian Strange coming back out on the mound for his third inning of work. So far, he's given up 3 hits, has 2 strikeouts through those first couple of innings. It'll be the top of the order due up here for the Aggies. Nick DiCarlo, Andrew Tinsley, and Tyler Smith back to the plate here in the bottom of the third.
And Brian Strange up there, again, throwing strikes, throwing that fastball, changeup, and tight little slider at the moment. Get the Aggies out. So, good little pitching matchup between he and Gavin Santel. Gavin Santel just kind of on the bad end of a few fluky hits and some hit and runs and a couple solid hits in that first inning. But since then, it's been quiet.
Nick DiCarlo now will wade in. 0 for 1 on the day, hitting .358 on the season. Always a threat to bunt with his speed in that left-handed side of the batter's box.
Yeah, you can see Brent Smith over there.
Carlo takes low there for ball 1.
Kind of in on the grass, taking that away from DiCarlo.
This is a big 3-game series for both of these teams. Elon 3-9 in conference play so far. The Aggies 2-7 as DiCarlo swings and misses there for strike 1. Both teams trying to gain some ground here this weekend in the conference standings.
Well, they're in what some believe is the toughest division in the conference.
For sure. I don't think there's anybody that disagrees. 1-1. That one misses up for ball 2.
Well,
2-1 count.
The CAA brothers from the north would disagree with you.
I don't think so. I think they know.
The defending champions of Northeastern.
Well, Northeastern's good, but that's about the only team in that top half that's traditionally good.
Well, the Aggies have a great finish.
2-1. Carlo wags at that one and misses for strike 2.
For the remainder of the year, they get a chance to play all these teams in the Southern Division, and then they also get a chance to play the 2 top teams at the moment in the Northern Division in Northeastern and Monmouth. So have their hands full, but seem to be playing some hot baseball recently in the last week or so, winning their first series against the Georgetown Hoyas.
Yep, won 4 of 5, won 3 in a row for the first time this year.
I've got several kind of battles. We've got the battle of the borough between UNCG and A&T. You got the Kings of the Triad. This is a good Kings of the Triad matchup.
DiCarlo bloops one over to left field, and making the catch on the run out there in left field is Duroff, and it's 1 away.
Yeah, it seems Phoenix right there with that shift on had DiCarlo played shallow and somewhat on the line, so in perfect position to make that play.
Andrew Tinsley will step in now. Tinsley hitting .315 on the season, 1 for 1 on the day. Nobody on and 1 out here in the bottom of the third.
I heard there was some discontent with my Battle of North Carolina rankings, but
who had the discontent? Swinging a miss there for strike 1.
Well, we finished the game, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. We'll talk a little bit about it because this is a Battle of North Carolina matchup here. It's also a Kings of the Triad. We've got Wake Forest, High Point, Elon, UNCG, and A&T all here.
0-1, swing and a miss, and quickly it's an 0-2 count here from Strange to Tinsley.
So, the Phoenix, as you mentioned earlier, got some great numbers against the Aggies. So we see Tinsley take a good cut here. Big stride on that breaking pitch.
0-2, misses up a little. Count goes to 1-2 here on Tinsley.
But, we're in North Carolina, so of course we're going to talk about it. But 18 Division I programs in the state. That might be the most. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on that.
I don't know of a state. I mean, California would have quite a few. This one misses low. Count goes to 2-2. Texas would probably be another.
Yeah.
Maybe Florida. But there's not going to be many that have close to as many. But those are probably the states to look at.
So, yeah, arguably some of the best baseball played in the country right here in North Carolina.
Here's the 2-2. Tinsley chops one into the dirt. That was kind of similar to his first hit of the game, actually. But that one goes foul, and the count stays at 2-2.
Tinsley doing a good job there of getting a piece of it. Staying in the AB. And Ben Hall, respected hitting coach here in the region, always seems to have a potent offense.
2-2 gets him looking there for strike 3. And it's now 2 away here in the bottom of the third.
Well, so far in home plate umpire, nobody likes to be called out on strike 3, not swinging, but we've seen it on both sides.
Yep.
Good evenly matched called contest so far.
Tyler Smith is going to step in here now. Smith 1 for 1 on the day and 288 on the season. Nobody on, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third.
So Brian Strange.
Smith takes outside there for ball 1. He was second team all CAA and made the all freshman team last season. Here's the 1-0. This is up again. 2-0 count here to Tyler Smith. And through 2 2/3 so far, it's one thing Strange has not done yet. He has not put anybody on base.
Yeah, 2-0 count here. You don't want to give in to a big hitter like Tyler Smith. Could make the count 3-0.
That one at the knees for strike 1. Tyler Smith shook his head a little with that one. Not sure if he's mad at himself or disagree with the umpire. I don't know.
I'm sure he's mad at himself. He let one go right down the pipe there on a 2-0 count.
Here's the 2-1. Got him swinging at one down low there for strike 2. He's gotten a lot of people to swing at that pitch just above the plate. Whatever that's a slider potentially.
He's got a lefty up there, so that either was a back foot slider or a changeup that just kind of dove out.
There's the 2-2 now from Strange. Down in the dirt, blocked up behind the plate. Count goes full. Now to Tyler Smith.
So many Aggies so far with 2 strike counts. Not protecting. Let's see if Tyler Smith can protect the plate here with 2 strikes.
3-2. Tyler Smith chops one foul towards the Aggie dugout. Keeps himself alive. Still a 3-2 count. Brian Strange up to, this will be his 47th pitch of the night so far.
Well, so far, the first third of the game, we've got a really good pace.
3-2. Tyler Smith fouls another off. Not going quietly. The count stays 3-2.
But yeah, we're talking about Ben Hall and his hitting approach. And the Aggies, the Aggie batters never really seem to be out of the count with 2 strikes.
Here's that 3-2. Chopped towards third. Nice snag over at third that time by Smith. He fires it across. What a throw from Smith. And it's a 3 up, 3 down. Bottom of the third inning for Brian Strange. We're a third of the way home in this one. The Phoenix in control, leading 4-0 as we move to the top of the 4th inning. Next on FloCollege. Top of the fourth inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon with a 4-0 lead here in Greensboro. Gavin Sintel back on the mound for his fourth inning of work. He's given up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, has 5 strikeouts so far. He's thrown 52 pitches. 27 of those were in that first inning where Elon scored 4 runs. So the last 2 innings, he's been much more economical with just 25 pitches. And Gavin Bogdanchik will step in to lead off here. 1 for 1 on the day with an RBI.
Well, Gavin Sintel just settling in. Throwing a nice 2-seamer for strikes.
Takes that one outside there for ball 1.
Getting some defensive support. And the Phoenix, even on hard hit balls, hitting him right at defenders. So having some good fortune.
That one on the outside corner to Bogdanchik. Count evens up 1-1 here in the top of the fourth inning.
Sintel being the quintessential starter.
This is outside, and it's now 2-1 to Bogdanchik. Bogdanchik, a Charleston Southern transfer.
Sometimes in that first round, you take a few punches.
Here's a 2-1. Takes outside and low for ball 3. 3-1 count.
So behind in this count, needing to fight back, but
Sintel, 3-1. Hard grounder hit towards third. Makes it past Harper into left field. Base hit for Bogdanchik. He's now 2 for 2 on the day. And that will put the runner on here to start off the bottom of the fourth with Jake Haidu coming to the plate.
Yeah, hard hit ball down the left field line. Andrew Tinsley doing a great job of holding Bogdanchik to a single. Getting that ball back into the infield immediately. So we'll see if the Phoenix lay down a bunt here or potentially call a hit and run. Aggies have on.
Where's the bunt? The throw down to second is not going to be in time. So Bogdanchik gets in the scoring position without the Phoenix having to lay down a bunt.
Yeah, Bogdanchik just getting a good jump. They square on the bunt. Gomez getting an opportunity to throw him out. Throws there. Not in time. So Sintel having to battle through here. They still want to lay one down, which I'm always in favor of, moving those runners, getting a runner on second or third with less than 2 outs as much as possible, as we see. Get a mound visit here from Tyson Ellis.
He's struggled to find the strike zone a little bit so far this inning.
Yeah, Coach Ellis coming out to settle his guy down. Has been an effective pitching coach all year for the Aggies, seeming to come out and send the right message. Get his guy back motivated to executing pitches.
Haidu, who's hitting 261 on the season.
So sometimes, got to pause the game, refocus. Gavin Sintel down in this count.
Here's a 2-0 from Sintel. Got him to swing through on that breaking pitch for strike 1. 2-1 count.
Yeah, Haidu somewhat frustrated with himself there, knowing that was a pitch out of the zone, but it was a 2-0 count. I get it. 2-0 count, you want to get a good swing. It was a good pitch by Gavin Sintel behind in that count.
2-1. Swung through again for strike 2. Or actually strike 3 there for Haidu. Yep. I guess that was missed one there, I guess. but one away here for. Yeah. That wasn't just us, by the way. The scoreboard only had 1 strike up there too. I think everybody was behind on that one.
It happens. It happens.
Nate Sterling now will step in here. The runner on second and 1 out. That was the 6th strikeout for Gavin Sintel.
That was a big one. Definitely needed 1 out there.
Pick throw back that time. It was a pretty good move by Sintel.
Yeah. trying to keep Bogdanchik honest. Second base. Good to see the Aggies. You know, we've seen a lot of teams come in and just kind of take bases at will. So letting the Phoenix know we've got some pickoff moves.
This one popped up, and Gomez couldn't find it. Would probably should have been a routine easy out there. Ends up falling as a foul ball. Tough break there for Gavin Sintel.
Yeah, you know, that's the fear, you know, for those that are against the bunt. Those little pop-up bunts. But even when that happens, it's still a tough play. Gomez was able to get that mask off, but just couldn't find it right away. That's why, you know, working on fundamentals, that type of stuff happens. You're supposed to scream up, up, up.
Hard hit ball down the third baseline into left field. The runner from second will score easily. Sterling on his way into second with an RBI double, and Elon tacks on another run. 5-0 here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, another hard hit ball right there down the line. Looked like to be a sinker. Sinker low and in that Sterling just put a good swing on.
Jackson Alford, who's 1 for 2 on the day now, will step in. And this is where they intentionally walked him, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're going to put him on, which is a good idea. Go ahead and put him on first.
So
Create
now
the first play.
So that'll now bring Jared Hall to the plate, who's 1 for 2 on the day.
You know, first intentional walk of the year. That at least
that's the first time we've seen him do it. Yeah.
And that was a good one. You don't want Alford to hurt you.
Hall golfs one out towards the left. Tinsley moves over near the line into the shade and makes the grab. 2 away here for the Aggies. And that'll bring Brian Duroff to the plate, who is 2 for 2 on the day.
Well, you know, he was named an impact guy for a reason. He got 2 outs here. It is a 5-run ball game right now. We know how potent that Aggie offense is. So
Duroff is a transfer from St. Mary's. Hit just .237 there last year, but had 9 home runs and 34 RBI. Fouls that first pitch back for strike 1.
Well, another big opportunity here for him to drive in another run, you know, to put it at a 6-run deficit. It would be a big out for the Aggies. Definitely need to get their offense going.
This one lifted by Duroff, back out towards left field. Tinsley on the run, makes the sliding catch out in left field. Big time defensive play for Andrew Tinsley to limit the damage in the top of the 4th inning. Elon does add 1 run though. They lead 5-0 as we move to the bottom of the 4th next on FloCollege.
This is the CAA on FloCollege.
I've seen significant changes in my skin. Good Molecules is everything.
My skin looks flawless. My skin is just glowing. And who doesn't want that?
Good Molecules made an amazing difference in my skin. My skin has glowed up completely.
Hyperpigmentation cleared up a lot. My skin tone is a lot smoother.
I've truly seen a difference in my skin. Now I have confidence and now I'm glowing.
I feel confident in my skin once again, thanks to Good Molecules.
Bottom of the 4th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon out to a 5-0 lead as we move into the bottom of the 4th inning. You can support Aggie Athletics right now by texting GIVE2AAF in all caps to 71777. Again, that's GIVE2AAF in all caps to 71777. You can do that now to support the Aggie Athletic Foundation. Brian Strange back out on the mound for his 4th inning of work here for the Elon Phoenix. So far has surrendered just 3 hits through 3 innings.
Well, you know, this Elon staff is in the top 5 in the conference. I think they're number 4. So, Brian Strange, the lead starter, doing his bidding here, putting up 4 scoreless. The Aggies need Bruce Weiss to get something started.
Weiss swings at that first pitch for strike 1. 0 for 1 on the night, hitting .319 on the season.
Well put together young man that could really drive the baseball. Hits it to all fields.
Chopper hit towards short, leaping snag over at short, but no play to be made over at first. And boy, the ball is really flying off the field here in this infield so far tonight.
Yeah, a lot of top spin. Again, the War, as we call it, War Memorial Stadium, a lot of infield hits out here, natural surface. That ball hits the dirt or hits those lips on the infield. It tends to take quirky bounces and a lot of high chops, so you can make some contact. And as we've mentioned many times, the Aggies do not like to bunt. And I doubt we're going to see a bunt here. They're more of a hit and run team when they've got it going.
Edwards will take ball 1 low and in there. 1-0 count. Here to Savoy Edwards, who's hitting .240 on the season.
And, it tends to work. There have been times where I've called for punts, and then, before you know it, they've got 3 guys on base, and they're pushing the ball all around the park.
Savoy Edwards swings through on that breaking ball for strike 1, and the count evens up at 1-1.
Savoy Edwards, a tall guy. I think the word is out. They throw a lot of breaking pitches to him. He's one of those guys that just needs to keep that weight back a little longer. Let those breaking pitches get deep into the zone and then pull the trigger. Well, I can imagine he's probably going to see many breaking pitches tonight.
Here's the 1-1. Savoy Edwards takes it up there for ball 2. 2-1 count.
So Brian Strange missing his spot there, but doing a good job of setting it up for a fastball. Just leaving it up in the zone. Probably going to go back to a breaking pitch here.
2-1 misses low, and it's now a 3-1 count here to Savoy Edwards.
Strange went back to the fastball, low and in. Good location, at risk of walking a batter. And if he walks Edwards, we might see that bunt.
Here's the 3-1. Edwards takes strike 2 there. Full count. Now to the Greensboro native, Savoy Edwards.
So Strange not wanting to walk a guy. Challenging Edwards. I wonder what he's going to go with here in this full count.
3-2. Edwards fouls one back to keep himself alive. Count stays at 3-2. That one might have hit the Elon bus. Kind of parked in that vicinity back behind us in the parking lot.
Yep. So big full count pitch here. The Aggies could potentially get something going this inning with a walk here.
Here's a 3-2. Bruce Weiss on the move. Edwards goes down swinging, and it's going to be a strike him out, throw him out. Strange gets the strikeout, and behind the plate, Sterling gets the throw out, and now it's 2 away.
So Savoy Edwards putting a good swing. The ball just beating Weiss. So unfortunate occurrence for the Aggies. It appeared they had something going. And now quickly 2 outs.
And JT Taylor now will step in with nobody on and 2 outs. Taylor 0 for 1 on the day, hitting .247 on the season. Taylor golfs one over down the first baseline, ranging over Mariano, covers a bunch of ground back behind first base and is able to make the grab. It's a unconventional 3 up, 3 down, bottom of the 4th inning for Elon. We move to the top of the 5th inning next on FloCollege. Top of the 5th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Gavin Centel back out on the mound for his 5th inning of work. So far he's given up 5 runs, 8 hits, does have 6 strikeouts in this one, and there's still actually no activity up in the Aggie bullpen.
Well, Centel, again, just, I'm not going to say cruising, but, outside of that first inning, he's thrown the ball well and has kept his team in the game. He'll be, from what I understand, potentially the first Aggie starter to go 5 innings this year. I think it might have happened maybe once or twice earlier in the year, but, good performance, and see if he gets to 5.
Bar Hindle takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Hindle is 0 for 2 on the day with an RBI. He got that on a ground out.
Well, once you kind of get in this middle part of the lineup, if you're Gavin Centel.
Another nice pitch there from Centel for strike 2. Does look like now there's about to be some activity starting down in the Aggie bullpen.
Well, his pitches and pitch count is probably...
Hey, this is 73 right here.
Right, so he's approaching the end. And, depending on how he fares, we'll be able to possibly get through 5.
This is low and in there. Count goes to 1-2 here to Hindle.
But, haven't seen any, mechanical breakdowns, just still throwing the ball well.
1-2 offering. Chopper towards the first base side is foul. Count will stay at 1-2.
He's another guy that likes to work fast, get up on the hill, and throw the next pitch.
1-2. Chopper hit towards second. Played off the hop there by Acevedo. He'll fire over to first, and it's 1 away. That'll bring Jose Mariano to the plate, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Made a nice play to end the bottom of the 4th inning, covering a lot of ground over in foul territory. Back behind him to make that grab at first.
No real wind influence today, so.
Mariano rips one down the left field line. That is back, and gone. Into the trees. Jose Mariano crushes one out of War Memorial Stadium. And the Phoenix stretch the lead to 6-0.
Yeah, just Mariano just probably still pumped from that defensive play that we were just talking about, just putting a really good swing on a breaking pitch that hung up there a little bit.
That's the second home run of the season for Mariano, his second RBI of the night. 2 home runs, 16 RBI on the year now for him. Brent Smith will step in here. Nobody on him, 1 out. Well, Smith had it's Sterling actually that had the throw out there behind the plate. Smith has been pretty solid defensively for third base for Elon in this one. Here's the 0-1. Fastball chopped back, and the count quickly goes to 0-2.
Centel ahead of another batter, trying to get through 5. If he can keep it here, the Aggies can get something going.
Check swing. He did go around for strike 3. That's the 7th strikeout for Gavin Centel. Again, it hasn't been all bad, but it just hasn't been all great either.
Yeah, first inning was a rough one for him, but solo shot there by Mariano. Base hit in the last inning, driving in a run. Yeah.
This one's lifted foul, way back out of play. Down goes to 0-1. Here to Gavin Bogdanchik, who's had a nice night at the plate. 2 for 2 with an RBI, hitting .273 now on the season. Swings and a miss there for strike 2. Quickly, an 0-2 count.
Yeah, he's been 0-2 on several batters. 7 or 8 strikeouts.
0-2 goes down swinging for strike 3. It's the 8th strikeout of the night for Gavin Centel, but a solo homer from Jose Mariano stretches the lead to 6-0 for the Elon Phoenix. Aggies coming back to the plate in the bottom of the 5th inning. Next on FloCollege.
A land-grant university started small. How did it grow into the nation's largest HBCU?
It is a gateway for people to change their lives.
Explore the history and legacy of North Carolina A&T.
You have produced some of our nation's finest leaders.
With its deep roots in agriculture and a focus on STEM education.
This is Generation A&T.
Our blues make us gold.
Bottom of the fifth inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. The Elon Phoenix having their way so far in this one, leading 6-0. As you can see, Coach Hall speaking to his guys here for the bottom.
Trying to motivate the troops, motivate the Boer boys.
Look, not too much yelling going on there.
Yeah,
but trying to get the offense going.
Some fans out there.
Yeah, pretty decently attended game, especially for Easter weekend. But with these two teams being so close in proximity, Elon's only about a 30 minute drive away.
Well, the Aggies are going to have to try to put something on the board here against a quality arm from the Elon Phoenix, Mr. Brian Strange, throwing 4 scoreless so far.
That one misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 count here to Gomez.
Aggies needing to respond so far. Brian Strange 2 for 2 in shutdown innings.
Strange through 4 has given up 4 hits, make that 5 as this is going to drop in, and it's going to go all the way back to the warning track. Gomez is going to end up with a leadoff double, and the left fielder there for Elon, Duroff, tried to cut that one off and ended up running a little shy on it, and it got past him, and Gomez ends up with a double because of it.
Well, Luis Gomez putting a lot of good swings on balls lately. Batting average over 300, as we stated earlier, has seemed to have earned that starting catching position. Able to motor around for a stand-up double, getting something going.
Boaz
Bottom
Harper,
of the 5th here.
Harper will step in now, 1 for 1 on the day. I was saying Brian Strange has given up 5 hits, has 4 strikeouts so far in this one. Harper takes low and in there for ball 1. Harper's hitting 194 on the season after that hit in his first at bat.
Yeah, Harper, again, a guy that needs more ABs, can play second and short, I'm sure, but has moved over there in the third base role.
Swing and a miss there for strike 1. Well, that's been the issue offensively for A&T. That's been the spot. Tuggle and him are both pretty good defensively at third, but they've both struggled at the plate so far.
Well, there's another young man by the name of Caleb Beals that steps in.
Another guy that struggled at the plate also. That one, he gets wild and gets all the way to the backstop. That will allow Gomez to slide over the third, and the Aggies threatening really for the first time today. First time they've gotten anybody to third.
Yeah. But the Aggies have a lot of options. And as we see Boaz Harper take one there, almost getting hit by that pitch. A lot of pass balls here at the War. Brian Strange experiencing that for the first time.
Here's the 2-1 to Harper. Fastball misses outside, and the count now 3-1 to Harper.
Well, at some point, I'm sure if Strange continues to struggle here, we'll start to see some action in that Phoenix bullpen. He's kept the Aggie bats quiet, but there's no outs here.
3-1. Harper fouls it back, and the count goes full.
A good aggressive cut there by Boaz Harper. 3-1 count, not getting cheated. Another Aggie batter with a full count, needing to protect the plate here. Swinging at anything close.
Here's the 3-2. Fastball chopped off of the leg that time of Harper, and the count stays full.
He's got equipment. He's got that little shin guard there. Those guys, good hitters. Right there in that right foot.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Strange with his 5th strikeout of the night. And it's 1 away. That'll bring Luis Acevedo to the plate.
Well, Strange going with a breaking pitch there. It was somewhat high in the zone, but it was too much eye candy there for Boaz Harper. Had to take a swing at that one. And Strange able to record the strikeout. So Acevedo, young freshman, earning some playing time. Trying to break up the shutout.
Swings at the breaking ball there for strike 1. Acevedo hitting .206 on the season. Top of the order follows Acevedo with Nick DiCarlo in the on-deck circle. Here's the 0-1. Acevedo lifts one out of play to the right side. Count will go to 0-2.
So Brian Strange on the good side of things, experiencing a strike him out, throw him out in the last inning. Ahead in the count here against Acevedo.
Here's the 0-2. Acevedo keeps himself alive as he fouls off another. Brian Strange up to 70 pitches now.
Well, we'll see if Acevedo can make him throw a few more.
0-2 just getting a piece of that one and fouling it back.
Every time you foul one of those off, it's another pitch. So Acevedo doing his bidding. Try to get a few more pitches out of Strange's arm.
0-2. And Acevedo lifts one back out towards right field. That will certainly be deep enough for Gomez to tag, and he will come in and score. So the Aggies get on the board with an RBI sac fly here from Luis Acevedo. That's his 4th RBI of the season. But it's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. And now Nick DiCarlo, who's over 2 on the day, will come to the plate.
With 2 strikes, that's a great AB there from Luis Acevedo. Getting the job done, making sure the Aggies get 1 run out of the deal. And now you've got the top of the lineup with 2 outs. And it's a 5-run ball game.
This is outside there for ball 1.
And no activity in the Phoenix bullpen, so looks like both teams are going with their starters.
Swing and a miss there from DiCarlo. His count evens up at 1-1.
For the 6th inning, so both guys in the 70 to 80 pitch range probably have 1 more in them.
1-1. Ripped by DiCarlo, but snagged by Mariano. What a night he is having, both at the plate and in the field, as Mariano robs DiCarlo of a base hit. The Aggies get on the board, but still trail by 5, 6-1, as we move to the top of the 6th inning. Next on FloCollege. Top of the 6th inning at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. The Aggies did get on the board, but still have a lot more work to do as they trail 6-1 here in the top of the 6th inning. Even the critters are out to check out the baseball here tonight
Friday
at
night.
the Wars. I believe that's a gopher.
Yeah, it's a big gopher.
And he's getting bigger as he's eating there. Haidu will step in here to lead off this top of the 6th inning. Gavin Centel back out for his 6th inning of work. Haidu puts down a bunt towards third. Harper fires, but not in time. Nice bunt from Haidu.
Right-handed drag bunt right there. Late square. Seen some really good bunting from some of these opposing teams. And that's beautiful right there. It's just...
I caught Harper playing deep and able to leg it out. That'll bring Nate Sterling to the plate, who's 1 for 2 on the day.
Yeah, you're probably going to see another one. You know, some of these other teams really lay the ball down, sacrifice, get runners to second, and push them around. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one.
Centel throws over. There is activity starting in the Aggie bullpen.
Well, Centel's throwing the ball well, still throwing strikes, but approaching the end of that pitch count. Now, this is where, this would be mind-boggling if they don't bunt here and they hit into a double play after a beautiful opening frame bunt.
I think you might be trying to speak something into existence there.
Well,
throw over to first again here from Centel.
I'm just a little confused because, they've demonstrated so far tonight, that they're a squad that likes to bunt. This is a bunting opportunity, and you're not going to bunt?
Throw over again. 0-1 count. Here to Sterling still.
And the Aggies don't seem to be in any type of bunt defensive coverage, so.
Well, they're hoping he gets into a double play. This one's lifted, and the runner went to first. Acevedo calls off Tyler Smith at first to make the grab, and it's 1 away. The runner, Haidu, able to retreat back to first, and that'll now bring Jackson Alford to the plate.
Well, that was a hit and run, so not a bunt, but, definitely a play call. Almost getting doubled up. Haidu able to hustle back to the bag.
Throw over first. Not in time.
But they've got their offensive spark plug in the box at the moment. So this is where I'm either bunting or hit and run again. And
on the move, and actually it's not going to matter. Alford got hit. So that puts runners on first and second here with 1 out. And now Jared Hall, who's 1 for 3 on the day, will come to the plate.
Yeah, Centel seems to be fatiguing somewhat. Breaking pitch that he just didn't get enough on. Didn't break. Ends up catching the jersey of Jackson Alford, and the Phoenix have 2 base runners. So Centel trying to be the first Aggie pitcher to go 6 innings.
Centel catches the inside corner there for strike 1. 0-1 count to Jared Hall, who's 1 for 3 on the day with a run scored.
We did see a 5-inning performance, but it was out of the bullpen by Kobe Cushing.
That's true. Yeah, last weekend. Takes the inside corner there. 0-2 count. Hall a little surprised at that call.
Yeah. Well-thrown slider right there in the inner part of the plate. So Centel still got a lot of action.
Pick throw back to second, but it gets into center field. A lot of contact there. The throw from DeCarlo to third.
Got him.
Is it? I think they're going to call interference. I believe they're going to call interference on JT Taylor. They kind of got tangled up with each other there at second. So now runners on second and third here with an 0-2 count. Coach Hall out to talk about the call.
He's going to want an explanation.
Well, here's
on that. He's making an attempt to catch the ball. I don't understand how that's interference.
That's not a lot there when you look at that on the replay.
Yeah, no, I didn't see a lot even without the replay. So, yeah, questionable call there. And I'm sure Coach Hall is going to want an explanation because, sometimes, and again, you've heard my take on it, sometimes umpires get a little too involved in the game. And on that one right there, he's trying to catch the ball.
Yeah,
so that's not interference on the defensive player. So, trying to figure out.
He got out of the way like as quick as he could, to be honest. I don't think.
That's a thrown out runner at third base. So, questionable.
Still talking about it here with the home plate umpire, which, the home plate umpire is not the one that made the call. So, so I don't.
Yeah, these are the types of plays, again, I think should be reviewable. I mean, this is a 5-run game, and, prior to the game, we had a little mini discussion about this, but this is a big call. This is a big call in this game right here, and the Aggies, it looks like they're just going to have to take another one.
Coach Hall still not happy with the explanation. It's going to be runners on second and third, and 1 out here for Elon as Jared Hall will step in. This one fouled back, and count 0-2 to Hall still.
Yeah, Gavin Centel, again, big time performance tonight. Unfortunate first inning, but unfortunate call on that last play, because that would have been the second out. This could be strike 3 in the end of the inning here, but
missed outside there as the count goes to 1-2.
So 1-2 still ahead, still out there battling on the mound.
There's a 1-2. This one lifted into right field. 1 run will come in to score. They're going to wave Alford around as well. The throw gets cut off, and 2 runs are going to score. So a 2-run base hit there for Jared Hall, and Elon has stretched the lead to 7, 8-1 here in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, that's a good piece of hitting there. Breaking pitch by Centel on the bottom of the zone.
And I think this is going to be it for Gavin Centel, as Ben Hall on his way out to the mound. So Centel, who's 5 1/3, gives up 11 hits, 8 runs, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk through 88 pitches. So he got him through 5 1/3, but he leaves with a 7-run deficit here in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, Jared Hall right there, just reaching, putting the barrel out there, letting the bat head do the work, driving in a couple runs. Centel, 5 1/3, threw the ball well. Again, a guy in the first inning having, some misfortune, but nevertheless, good pitching performance tonight. And we'll see if
Benny Whiteacre going to come in and take over here for the Aggies. This will be his 8th appearance of the season. .93 ERA.
Yep.
9 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks on the year so far for Benny Whiteacre, the freshman out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Well, Whiteacre's been named as an impact pitcher this season. He is the ERA leader, the walks and hits per innings pitched leader for the Aggies. A guy coming in right now at a 7-run deficit, just kind of charged with helping the Aggies finish this game, respectively. And should do a good job for the Aggies right here, needing to get 2 more outs and see if the Aggies can respond here.
Whiteacre gonna finish warming up. We're gonna pay some bills. Elon leading 8-1 here in the top of the 6th inning on FloCollege.
Vaughn, why did you decide to come to A&T? How does it make you feel when people say that this is a second-class institution, academically?
A second class?
You are the first black woman in the history of this country to build a $1 billion company.
I do not honor the woman because it was a journey traveled by many along with me.
It's easy to forget that before they were known as heroes, they were young people just like all of you.
And stolen base there for Jared Hall as he swipes second. And the count now 0-1 here to Brian Duroff, who is 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI.
Yeah, Benny Whiteacre needing to hold some runners here. Elon Phoenix.
Breaking ball chopped down the third baseline, foul. The count goes to 0-2 here to Brian Duroff. He's 2 for 3 on the day, hitting .286 on the season. The grad transfer from St. Mary's.
We've got Jared Hall out there at second base, kind of hopping around. Elon Phoenix have been aggressive so far in the base paths.
0-2 chases one down in the dirt that gets away from Gomez, and that's going to allow runners to be on the corners here with one out. Tough break for the Aggies. It's a strikeout actually for Whiteacre, but the runner gets on.
Yeah, we've talked about that rule.
Still the strangest rule in baseball to me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Gar Hindle will step in now, 0 for 3 on the day.
So first and third for the Phoenix, threatening once again.
The runners on the corners, one out. First pitch to Hindle is right over the plate for strike one.
You know, Duroff, somewhat of a swift runner, doesn't really steal a lot of bases, but effective in his attempts so far this year. Could see an attempt. We did not see a first and third.
This one lifted by Hindle, back out towards right field. Weish back up at the wall and makes the grab at the wall. The runner from third will tag up and score, and it's an RBI sac fly for Duroff, his second RBI of the night. And again, Elon tacks on a lead, 9-1 now here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, Weish doing a great job of getting all the way back to the wall there, just in case that ball decided to potentially drift out. He would have an opportunity to make a catch.
Mariano will step in here now. Takes inside and low there for ball one.
So Whiteacre coming in and getting a quick out. A strikeout that ended up in a base runner.
It's a swing and a miss there for strike one. 1-1 count. Mariano has been terrific tonight. 2 for 3 with a home run, solo home run, another RBI on top of that, and a couple of nice catches at first base. Here's the 1-1. Misses low and in for the 2-1 count.
Yeah, the Phoenix have been aggressive. I know they're going to try to get Duroff down to second base. Could potentially see a stolen base attempt.
2-1. A little dribbler hit towards second. Whiteacre will take it himself, though, and that will end the top of the 6th inning. Elon scores 3 more runs. They lead 9-1 as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Next on FloCollege.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Smith, and I popped into my local McDonald's to get my 2 favorite breakfast items on the buy one, get one for $1 breakfast meat, a sausage McMuffin, and my hash brown. I'll be back at lunchtime today to get a $5 meal deal featuring a chicken sandwich. Hope to see you at McDonald's soon.
Back. It's Ford Truck Month, and it's the best time to get a great deal on a new Ford truck. From the company that assembles more vehicles, employs more hourly workers who help make Ford the best-selling truck brand in the Carolinas. It's Ford Truck Month. Get great deals on a huge selection, and that's a fact. Right now, lease a well-equipped 2025 Ford F-150 STX for just $305 a month, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Bottom of the 6th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon now out to a 9-1 lead. If you want to help the Aggie baseball team and Aggie athletics as a whole, you can text Give to AAF in all caps to 71777. Again, that's Give to AAF in all caps to 71777 to donate to the Aggie Athletic Foundation. Brian Strange back out on the mound for his 6th inning of work, and he has had a great night at the plate so far, or at the dish, so far tonight.
Yep, that's why we named him as an impact guy. He is your lead starter on the weekend. We've had that debate and discussion. Should you lead with your strongest guy or finish with your strongest guy? The Phoenix like to get out front, try to get a win, on the weekend by putting their stronger guy out on Friday night, kind of reminiscent of some of the Friday night guys here in Aggieland, Coley Kilpatrick, some of those guys that used to come out on Friday nights and throw 6 or 7 innings. So in the 6th inning of work here for the Phoenix.
Andrew Tinsley is 1 for 2 on the day. He'll step in. Strange has given up 5 hits in a run with 5 strikeouts through 5 innings so far. He's at 76 pitches now after that one. 1-0 count here to Tinsley.
Well, in the last inning or so, has gotten behind a few Aggie batters. Again, this Aggie offense can explode at any moment.
Takes that one on the inside corner for strike 1. 1-1 count from Strange to Tinsley.
They're down 8 here, had a rough inning in the top of the 6th defensively on the bad end of an umpiring call. And they find themselves 8 runs down here, needing to get something going.
Tinsley takes strike 2 on the inside corner from Strange. There's the 1-2. Misses inside. Count goes to 2-2.
So Strange kind of moving the ball in and out. That one somewhat up and in.
Two offering. This one lifted by Tinsley back out towards left center field, but Alford will range over and make the routine grab. And it's 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th.
So Strange throwing strikes and allowing the Aggies to hit themselves into outs.
Tyler Smith will wade in now, 1 for 2 on the day, hitting .286 on the season. Aggies came into this one having won 3 in a row. Elon actually recently snapped a long losing streak when they beat Queens in 10 innings on Tuesday night. Now the Phoenix trying to start a win streak. Smith takes strike 1. And again, this is a team that ever since they joined the CAA, these two teams, A&T has struggled. Elon is 9-3 against A&T since both teams joined the CAA, and Elon's won 7 of the last 8. Tyler Smith pops one up towards shallow left center. That will drop in for a base hit. Second hit of the night for Tyler Smith, puts a runner on with 1 out.
Yeah, the Phoenix, when I was playing, we're actually a Division II school, and then they ended up jumping into Division I, and they've had a quality program that they've been building for a while. Nice ballpark over there on campus, and
big part of that is Mike Kennedy, who's been the head coach there for 30 years. 18 seasons with 30 or more wins. He was an All-American catcher at Elon before becoming the head coach. An assistant for a little while. That one misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 count. When you can keep a coach in a mid-major program for 30 years, it's good. That's that's saying something.
No doubt about it. Yeah, they've got a good operation, and the Aggies able to win one over there on Friday night, and then they played the Phoenix pretty tough in Burlington but just we're on the losing end of the remaining 2 games of that series. So trying to even it up here.
Weiss will lift one back out towards center field. This one is back, and what a grab by Alford on the run. Tyler Smith will have to retreat back to first, and now it's 2 away.
Yeah, that's a big-time catch by Jackson Alford. That was a well-struck baseball. Bruce Weiss driving one deep to left center. Alford having to get on his horse and run it down.
And so bring Savoy Edwards, the Greensboro native, will step in now. 0 for 2 on the night, hitting .237 on the season. Runner on first, 2 outs.
Savoy Edwards in the last AB had
Edwards with the check swing there for strike 1.
A really good matchup against Brian Strange. Was on the losing end, but brought the count full. And Strange challenged him with a fastball. Edwards unable to connect.
Savoy Edwards fouls one back. Count goes to 0-2.
And Savoy Edwards, the son of a former Aggie football player, Shannon Edwards. Played football in Aggie land. Classmate of mine in the 90s.
Here's the 0-2. Savoy Edwards lifts one back towards right, shallow right, on the run, and able to make the grab. In from right field there is Hall. So the Aggies get 1 hit, but can't bring it home. Elon in control, leading 9-1 as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Next on FloCollege. Top of the 7th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon leading North Carolina A&T 9-1. And a new arm coming in here for the Aggies. Braxton Davis going to take over on the mound. Davis has had a tough year so far. This will be his 6th appearance. He has a 1-1 record, ERA of 9 in 7 innings pitched. He's given up 7 earned runs, 9 runs total, 6 strikeouts, 6 walks, opponent batting average of .269. And it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Brent Smith, Gavin Bogdanchik, and Jake Haidu, due up here for the Phoenix.
Well, as a reliever coming in, 8 runs down, you've got one job. That's just to get through the inning, limit the damage. As of maybe last year, there's an actual 10-run rule, what I call the fight for your right to party rule or mercy rule, whatever you want to call it. I think the appropriate term now is early termination. So, your job is to avoid early termination. Try to get your offense back out there.
Brent Smith will step in. He's 0 for 3 on the day. It struck out twice. That pitch looked a little low, but nice frame job there from Gomez for strike 1.
Yeah, Braxton Davis, that's where you want to be. If the umpire calls it a strike, you want to.
Hard hit ball towards the hole will make it through into right field. That's Braxton Davis lets the first man on. Davis from Irwin, North Carolina. That'll bring Gavin Bogdanchik, who's 2 for 3 on the day, to the plate.
Well, this is an Elon Phoenix team that's got some decent victories. Again, some of the people
beat NC State.
I was going to say they've got a big win against NC State. That's why I had them up a little higher on my Battle of North Carolina rankings.
That one misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 count.
It's a great pitch there from Davis. Again, you want to stay there at those knees.
That one at the knees.
There it is.
1-1 count. Here to Bogdanchik.
If you've got it, those pitches appear to be slightly low, but if the umpire is going to call it.
That one looked a little better than the first one that got called strike earlier this inning. That was right at the knees, I thought. That's outside and low. 2-1 count. That first one, though, I think Gomez framed it up. He pulled that up.
Yeah.
The one we were talking about to Brent Smith.
Peppering right there at the knees, at the bottom part of the zone.
Pulls back on the bunt attempt. Throw down to second is popped out of the glove. Might have had a chance at that being an out if the ball hadn't popped out of Acevedo's glove there.
Yeah.
That was close.
Luis Gomez, making a good attempt here.
3-1 count, by the way, to Bogdanchik.
One bouncer, and you're right.
I think, he might have got him if the ball hadn't popped out. It was pretty close.
Well, open base, so.
Swing and a miss from Bogdanchik, and the count goes full.
Bogdanchik, an aggressive swing. Braxton Davis looking to get an out here. Let's see if he challenges.
3-2, fouls that back. Bogdanchik keeps himself alive on 3-2 count.
Bogdanchik has had a decent night at the plate.
Yep, 2 for 3.
So big pitch here from Braxton Davis.
Here's the 3-2. This is low for ball 4. It puts Bogdanchik on. That'll put runners on first and second with no outs. Jake Haidu, who bunted for a hit earlier, would not surprise me if we see him lay one down here.
He laid down a pretty one down the third base line. Yeah, if I'm the Phoenix, I'm looking for checkmate.
Put 2 guys in scoring position.
2 guys in scoring position, bunt the ball here, try to get the deficit to 10 runs, and force the Aggies to fight for the right to party.
I don't disagree with you. Haidu squares the bunt, pulls back to take ball 1. But if Braxton Davis wants to is going to put him on, then don't blame him for pulling back either.
Yeah, so bunt defense, you got the first base crashing. Let's see if they change it up here, maybe have the third baseman crash.
Haidu pulls back again to take ball 2. And Tyler Smith is coming in really close, trying to get that ball for the first baseman to throw to third. We're going to get a visit here now to talk about the pitching here with Braxton Davis. 2-0 count to Haidu with runners on first and second and no outs.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to deliberately throw to the bottom part of the zone, and you just got some disciplined Phoenix batters. You got Haidu here putting the bunt offering out there and pulling back. See Coach Ellis try to help Braxton Davis focus on throwing strikes here. You sacrifice bunt, you're able to get 1 out, maybe a strikeout, a pop-up, and you're out of the inning even with those runners in scoring position. So definitely got to throw strikes, though. So Braxton Davis needing to refocus.
2-0 count here to Haidu, who puts the bunt down. Davis will field it, fires over to third, not in time. So Braxton Davis tried to go to third with it and still could not get the runner.
That was close. I'd like to see a replay on that one because he gets down, he slides, he barehands it. The ball might beat him there. The ball beats the guy to the bag. That's an out. So they need to look at that play.
They may look at it. I don't even know that the Aggies asked for this either. They just they called it themselves here. It looks like.
I'm watching the game. It doesn't appear the umpires are watching the game. I mean,
they're thinking about that doubleheader tomorrow, and they want to go home.
They're thinking about.
They are going to look at this.
They're thinking about when ABS reaches college is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I'm notorious for being tough on umpires, but you've got if you're doing the job, you got to do the job right.
I agree.
To make the game equitable and fair. So I'm glad that they are actually taking a look at this one, and I think it's going to result in an out. I would have liked to see,
unless he dropped the ball, and I didn't see it. It looked like he was out. I don't exactly know what that umpire saw for him to call safe.
You know, I would have liked to have seen them review that pickoff play, and you know, maybe there's a lack of understanding on defensive interference, but it appeared that JT Taylor was just trying to catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to tap. He's not on the bag. His feet are not on the bag.
Huh.
That's why he's safe. He is safe. His feet are not on the bag.
Why is his feet not on the bag?
I don't know. I can't answer that, but that's why I would explain why he's trying to tag. I do see why they called him safe now.
Yeah. I think on that first angle, it appeared he was standing.
On that first angle, you couldn't really see his feet, but that side angle showed that his feet were back off the bag. So I think this is going to stand it safe, even though we thought initially. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why his feet weren't on the bag. I just out of position, I guess.
Well, that's why they've got several angles. Good job by our Streamcast partners, TEM Video. Because on that last angle, you're right. I didn't see his foot on the bag.
Nate Sterling now will step in with the bases loaded and no outs. Sterling 1 for 3 on the night with an RBI double. He'll take strike one right there. Nice pitch from Braxton Davis.
So, great bunt by the Phoenix. Great defensive play by Braxton Davis.
That's the tough thing for Braxton Davis is he made a really good play and then, gets let down.
Yeah, he had to barehand that one, and, I didn't really hear 3-3-3 from the defense, but elected to go to third, and that typically results in an out.
2-1 count here now to Smith.
So tough situation for the Aggies and Braxton Davis.
That pitch misses up for ball 3.
Kudos to the umpiring crew for at least taking a look at it.
Yep. Here's the 3-1 and low and in for ball 4. And that will bring a run in here for Elon. Walk with the bases loaded. Still no outs here, by the way, in the top of the 7th. And still bases loaded.
So you got the top of the Phoenix lineup and the very dangerous Jackson Alford at the plate with no outs. So a base hit here puts you 10 runs up. And all the Phoenix will need will be 3 outs.
Alford takes ball 1.
So Braxton Davis having to work down, leaving a few pitches up.
Alford takes on the inside corner there as the count evens up at 1-1. This is up high for ball 2. 2-1 count. Davis has already walked 2 guys in this inning.
Well, we talked about how great the weather was today. We got some rain coming in on Easter Sunday, forcing
doubleheader
tomorrow. So
that first game will get underway at 1 tomorrow. 3-1 count here to Alford. And catches the inside corner there for strike 2. 3-2 count.
Yeah, coaches, I'm sure, can't stand doubleheaders.
That's a lot of tax on your team for sure. 3-2. Breaking ball swings through there for strike 3. Braxton Davis with the punch out, and it's 1 away. Still bases loaded here for the Phoenix here in the top of the 7th. Also, as close. I know these two teams probably. I know A&T at least plays High Point on Tuesday. You could have played on Monday with these two teams as close as they are. But
that is true. We did see the Aggies do that with the University of Akron this year because they were going to stick around in town, so they moved it to a Monday. So to your point, why not?
I also think, if you were looking ahead, so many teams this weekend in particular around the country go Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend to take Easter off. So I could have done that as well, but hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
That one fell back, and the count goes to 0-2 on Jared Hall, who's 2 for 4 on the night with 2 RBI.
Well, we've got some great Battle of North Carolina matchups coming up in the weeks ahead. My controversial
swing and a miss, back-to-back strikeouts here for Braxton Davis, and it's 2 away.
Braxton Davis showing some fight.
Brian Duroff now will step in. He's had a nice night at the plate.
Braxton Davis striking out 1-2 in the lineup here, facing the 3-hole guy.
Duroff's 2 for 4 with an RBI double. He'll take that first pitch for strike 1. Ever since he walked a couple guys in a row, he can't miss the strike zone now.
Out there executing. And the Aggies are still.
Duroff chops one towards third. Boaz Harper will step on the bag, and that will end the top of the 7th inning. We've reached the 7th inning stretch here in Greensboro. Elon leading 10-1 as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Next on FloCollege. Bottom of the 7th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon leading North Carolina A&T 10-1. Brian Strange back out of the mound for his 7th inning of work. He's thrown 87 pitches so far tonight. He's given up 6 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and no walks for Strange tonight. He'll face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, JT Taylor, Luis Gomez, and Boaz Harper here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, we're at that time of the year, where they might allow him to extend beyond the pitching count, for a little bit. There is an arm just tossing around in the Phoenix bullpen, but he's thrown a great ball game today, only giving up that 1 run, and I believe it was the 5th inning. So up 9 here, the Aggies still at the party. No need to fight for it. Only down 9 runs, but definitely need to get something going.
JT Taylor will step in here, 0 for 2 on the night, hitting .244 on the season.
The Aggies will have to face some tough North Carolina competition, as you mentioned.
Taylor rips one just foul down the third base line.
They'll have to face the High Point Panthers twice in the next week or so. They've got
go to College of Charleston, which is always tough.
Yep. They've got the Campbell Camels and Buies Creek. They got to face the Wolfpack of NC State.
Taylor takes up high for ball 1. 1-1 count.
And then they finish with UNC Wilmington and a very hot Monmouth University team right now that's in second place in the Northern Division. Well, first place in the Northern Division of the conference.
1-1. JT Taylor fouls it back, and the count goes to 1-2.
So Monmouth outperforming Northeastern, the defending conference champions.
That's certainly a bit of a surprise. Don't think many people saw that coming this year. Still a lot of season left, but 1-2. Taylor on the check swing. They'll say he did go around for strike 3. 1 away.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Is that the next thing they're going to add with ABS is on these check swings? Go to the replay and see if he did go around. That was the right call. But go and look at the umpire and see if he's actually paying attention to home plate, because again, as we've talked about before, who knows how many times it happens where they're not actually looking at home plate.
Well, I like the attempts at making the game, more fair. I like.
Gomez takes strike 1 on the inside corner.
The ABS system in the big leagues this year, it no doubt, is going to be the talk of this year's season. We've seen several catchers just kind of irritate the home plate umpires as they tap that helmet.
0-1. Gomez golfs one back out towards center. And unfortunately for him, that pitching wedge shot is going to be caught there by Hendel. 2 away.
Yep. So Brian Strange still out there chucking it. And, the Aggies are just hitting themselves into outs. And, he's getting a strikeout here or there. But, could potentially try to get a CG here if they let him. I doubt that they will.
There is a little activity in the pin. Misses high and up. And that was the 94th pitch right there. So I don't know that he's going to go too much past 100.
Right. I mean, complete games are a rarity.
Here's the 1-0. Foul back there by Harper as the count evens up at 1-1. Harper 1 for 2 on the day.
It's such a rarity, but it happens. I mean, you still can get it done. But a lot of things have to go right for you with just only 100 pitches.
2-1 count to Harper now. And nobody on. 2 outs. I can't believe it, but you've let your favorite part of every game get by here.
I know, right?
Uniform battle has not been discussed in this bottom of the 7th.
Great reminder.
But we'll do it in the 8th. We are going to have an 8th inning. So 3-1 count here to Boaz Harper.
Sounds like a plan. We got a good uniform matchup tonight, as we typically do.
Here's the 3-1. Harper lifts one back out towards left field. Tracking over and able to make the grab is Duroff. And it's a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 7th inning for Brian Strange. He's gone 7 innings, only surrendered 1 run. Elon leading 10-1 as we move to the top of the 8th inning. Next on FloCollege.
Vaughn, why did you decide to come to A&T? How does it make you feel when people say that this is a second-class institution, academically?
A second class?
You are the first black woman in the history of this country to build a billion-dollar company.
I do not honor the woman because it was a journey traveled by many along with me.
It's easy to forget that before they were known as heroes, they were young people just like all of you.
Top of the 8th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon leading North Carolina A&T 10-1 as we move into the top of the 8th inning. And Braxton Davis back out on the mound here for the Aggies after pitching that 7th inning. It'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for Elon. Hindle, Mariano, and Smith due up.
Well, Braxton Davis, had a horrible start to the last inning, but was able to record 2 strikeouts and finish the inning strong for the Aggies, only relinquishing 1 run with the bases loaded and no outs. So, bared down and got 2 guys to strike out, trying to put together a second inning of a quality pitching performance.
Gar Hindle, who's 0 for 3 on the day, hitting 189 on the season, steps in. Take that second pitch upstairs for ball 2. 2-0 count here to Hindle.
So no outs here. Definitely don't want to let the Phoenix score another run.
Braxton Davis pops the mitt. That pitch a little up, but called strike 1. 2-1 count.
Yep, good located fastball. Just to get a strike right there, belt high.
That pitch high and outside for ball 3. 3-1 count here to Hindle.
Braxton Davis taking a deep breath here, trying to get back into this count. Throwing a quality strike here might get you a ground ball.
3-1 misses up for ball 4. So Hindle leads off the top of the 8th with a walk, and that'll bring Jose Mariano, who's 2 for 4 on the day with 2 RBI and a home run, to the plate.
Well, I mean, back in the day, there was that unwritten rule that if you're up X amount of runs, you shouldn't bunt. But I think with the 10-run rule,
I don't think they're bunting Jose Mariano.
I don't think so either. He hit an impressive bomb, but I mean, let's say Mariano wasn't at the plate at the moment. Would you
probably so?
Potentially bunt to try to get to the 10-run deficit?
Probably so.
For the win? I mean, some of these rules have changed the strategies. But to your point, Mariano hitting one pretty deep earlier. I doubt it.
Takes outside there, and the count 1-1. Also, Braxton Davis has walked 3 guys since coming in, so.
Well, a quality executed pitch here might get you a double play.
1-1, outside and low, and it's now 2-1 to Mariano.
Davis electing to throw to the bottom part of the zone could prove to be effective, getting that ground ball double play that you need at the moment.
2-1. Mariano hits one over towards third. The throw to second is in time, and they turn the 5-4-3 double play here in the top of the 8th. Aggies defense showing out a little bit here, and it's 2 away.
Yeah, fantastic pitch there by Davis. That's what I was calling for. A breaking pitch low in the zone. Ground ball to third base. Good turn by Acevedo, and the Aggies have 2 outs. Great execution by Braxton Davis.
Brent Smith now will step in. He's 1 for 4 on the day. Takes that pitch outside for ball 1.
So Braxton Davis potentially getting through 2 innings here. Let me see another look at that ground ball. Nice turn. 5-4-3.
2-1 count here to Smith. Top of the 8th inning. This is outside, and it's now a 3-1 count.
Braxton Davis again behind another batter. Should rely on that breaking pitch. It's been effective.
Outside and low, and it's another walk. That's the 4th walk that Davis has issued. Gavin Bogdanchik will hit next. 2 for 3 on the day.
Bogdanchik, a 2-out bat that you'd rather not face.
We're going to get a pinch hitter here for Elon. Kevin Denty, a junior from Tinley Park, Illinois. Valparaiso transfer.
Number 24.
He's hitting 150, hitting 151 so far this season with 10 RBI. He hit 299 with 4 home runs and 31 RBIs at Valparaiso last season.
Well, another guy fighting for ABs on his team. Getting a shot here with 2 outs.
Runner on first with 2 outs. Denty takes low and in for ball 1. Braxton Davis, in 1 2/3 innings, has already thrown 44 pitches.
Well, it appears he's being very methodical, being careful.
Runner on the move. That's inside. The throw down to second, not in time. So Elon does get a runner into scoring position here with 2 outs. And it's a 2-0 count now to Denty.
Well, that's part of pitching. Braxton Davis, no throwovers to first base. Good play call there by the Phoenix. Again, they've got 2 outs, but they're trying to put this game at a 10-run deficit. Again, that was one of those unwritten rules back in the day. You're up 9, you're stealing bases and bunting. Next pitch might be in your ear hole.
Another tech issue, it appears.
But it seems that part of the game has disappeared, especially with this 10-run rule. So Phoenix swiping another bag there, putting a runner in second in scoring position with 2 outs. Trying to force the issue here in the 8th.
2-0 count.
So 2-0 count to a pinch hitter that is anxious to make something happen.
High and in for ball 3. Now to Denty. There's a little activity up in the Aggie bullpen. .3-0 right there for strike 1. A 3-1 count now to Denty. And runner on second, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th.
So Davis
takes low and in for ball 4. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs. And that'll bring Haidu to the plate, who's 1 for 4, hitting .263 on the season.
Well, Haidu with another chance to drive in a run. That's the pitch that's been effective there for Braxton Davis. Sometimes when you're having struggles throwing strikes, and he went back to it. I was going to say go back to it.
And went outside for ball 1. 1-1 count to Haidu.
So, we almost missed it again. An opportunity to talk about these uniforms.
Haidu rips one back out towards left center field. DeCarlo on the run and makes the grab. We didn't miss it. Elon still leading 10-1 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Next on FloCollege. Bottom of the 8th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Elon leading North Carolina A&T 10-1. As we move into the bottom of the 8th, Cade Mustard coming in to take over on the mound here for Elon. Mustard, this will be his 9th appearance of the season. He's had a tough year so far. ERA is up around 25. In 4 1/3 innings, he's given up 12 earned runs, 14 runs total, 4 strikeouts to 9 walks. Opponent batting average of .476. So with a 9-run lead, I guess the coaching staff for Elon deciding it's an opportunity to try to let him build some confidence.
Let him get some work in, Coach.
It'll be the 9 1-2 hitters due up for the Aggies: Acevedo, DeCarlo, and Tinsley.
Yeah, it happens as a pitcher, just like batters. When that batting average is a little lower, it's usually an indicator that they don't have a lot of ABs. Real high ERA is very much the same. You probably just don't have a lot of innings. The few opportunities that you've had, giving up some runs. But, hey, man, bottom of the 8th, it's time to talk about best dressed since we missed it in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, we were a little late. A little late on this one. Go ahead. What do you got? What do you like?
All right. Well, again, we talked about
Acevedo with the chopper to short. Firing it across in time, and they're making sure the foot's on the bag. Yes, it is on the bag. Nice play there at short by Haidu, and it's 1 away.
Oh, good stretch there by Mariano at first as well. Yeah, everybody picking each other up.
We're going to go look at this, actually, it looks like. But anyway, plenty of time to talk about it now.
Exactly. All right, well, as we watch the replay here, let's just take a look at it before we talk about the unis. Let's see if that foot stays on the bag, and it appears that his toe...
If the foot's on the bag, it's an out.
If it looked like his toe stayed on the corner. But, tonight's unis, the home Aggie uniform, I think, is undefeated. It looks great. So I'm going to focus, on the Elon Phoenix. There have been a few teams that have come in here. I don't think black. It could be maybe like an accompanying color for the Phoenix, but I haven't really seen it.
They wear it in about every sport. It actually does come off, it looks like, but does he get it back on?
We'll see. Another good angle.
Because the umpire thought his foot came around and thought his foot was on the bag.
Well, it's on the bag, but it appears it gets pulled off.
But the umpire, after looking, he called him out. So the foot has to get back on the bag, I believe, at some point here.
Does his foot get there before? His foot gets there before the foot.
Yeah, that's going to be close call there.
Another great angle by our video partners, TEM Video. I'm glad that the umpiring crew wanted to take a look at it because I thought he was out, with that other angle. But the foot is clearly off the bag there, and it appears Acevedo beats him to it. So I think we're going to get a safe call, and then we can get back to talking about these uniforms. Because
they are done looking at it, so we'll see what they end up calling. Oh, they confirmed it. Wow. So I got his foot back to the bag, I guess.
Oh, sheesh.
One away.
That's not what I saw with that second angle. But.
So what were you saying about the Elon uniform?
Well, baseball uniforms, period. I don't understand black unis for several reasons. You got to spend quite a bit of money on uniforms. You're going to have to play a lot of games in the sun, and it's just an option. I just don't get it. I think it looks terrible, to be honest with you. We've seen several teams.
Tell me how you really feel.
Black uniforms in baseball are a major no-no. So they get a huge demerit for me. I do like the fact that they have Elon across their chest as the away ball club.
And now we're going to have another tech issue.
They are the away team. So if you're a spectator here watching your hometown Aggies, you want to know who they're playing? They're playing Elon. It says it across their chest. So
I actually like the jersey, and I like the hat. I think gray pants would have probably been, or white pants would have probably been the way to go, so that they're not all black. But I do actually like the hat and the jersey for Elon.
Now, I'm with you on the hat. I think that's a nice hat with the sweat holes, have the white outline. They got the white kind of, button at the top of the cap. I'm with you. Gray pants might have made this look a little better. I'm with you, though. If it's not one of your major colors, it's not like gray. You know, like everybody can kind of, since you got to wear away grays, you can mix in, you know, gray as a part of your uni. But I don't know when black became like kind of a universal neutral color like gray or white even, you know. So I think the Aggies win the uniform battle tonight.
DeCarlo hits a roller over to short. Throw across is in time. And it's now 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th.
And, you know, it could be, you know, I'm from a different era, different generation.
You're old.
I just, you know, even if you're talking pre-1990s, you know, I'm trying to think of, you know, teams that wore black uniforms. Only one I can think of, maybe the Chicago White Sox started mixing in a black jersey at some point in the 80s and 90s.
Well, they actually had different colors in the 80s. Yeah, they had that red and blue weird uniform in the 80s, which I think might be
the
ugliest uniform in the history of baseball, honestly.
I agree with you.
1-0 count. That's why I can immediately think of that uniform because of how ugly it is.
But, I mean, outside of the White Sox, who else wore black uniforms in the big leagues?
Does anybody wear one now?
Not
that I can think of.
Great question.
The Orioles do.
Yeah.
Their City Connect at least is a black uniform. I think they have the black with the Orioles in cursive across the chest too.
That's true.
I don't think they're all black though. I think they wear maybe gray pants with it, or white pants with it, I believe. But
you know, softball isn't as prevalent as it used to be.
Swing and a miss there for Tinsley. You're right about that. I don't know why that really is the case.
It just looks softball-y to me. I mean,
why is that the case? You don't see many people playing softball anymore.
Good question.
Slow pitch softball. 1-2 count here to Tinsley. Nobody on, 2 outs. This is low. Count now 2-2.
Well, we've been yapping about uniforms, but you can't say enough about, you know, the pitching staff tonight for the Phoenix with, you know, Brian Strange coming out and having an impact here in Game 1. Hence why he was named an impact pitcher.
3-2 count here to Andrew Tinsley now. Nobody on, 2 outs.
So Tinsley with a full count here, still battling in the box, trying to make something happen.
3-2. Tinsley chops one towards first. Mariano continues his nice glove work over at first, and it's a 3-up, 3-down. Bottom of the 8th inning for Cade Mustard. 10-1 Elon as we move to the final frame up next on FloCollege.
A land-grant university started small. How did it grow into the nation's largest HBCU?
It is a gateway for people to change their lives.
Explore the history and legacy of North Carolina A&T.
You have produced some of our nation's finest leaders.
With its deep roots in agriculture and a focus on STEM education.
This is Generation A&T.
Our blues make us gold.
Top of the 9th inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Elon leading North Carolina A&T 10-1. Grayson King now taking over on the mound here for the Aggies. This is just King's second appearance of the season. He threw a third of an inning earlier in the year back on against Gardner Webb. Actually, that was earlier. That was the week before this past week. That was in the game at Gardner Webb. It did not go well, but he's going to get another opportunity here in the 9th inning tonight.
Well, just like Cade Mustard on the other side, you know, a guy coming in, having really had a lot of action this year, but getting a chance to toe the bump for the Aggies to try to get 3 quick outs. Aggies down 9, but again, we mentioned earlier, scored 9 runs in the first inning earlier this week, needing one of those electric type of innings.
Wolf chops one towards third. Pinch hitting here. The throw across from Harper is in time. And quickly, it's one away here in the top of the ninth inning. Jackson Alford now will come to the plate. Alford 1 for 3 on the day, hitting .343 on the season.
Another high chopper over there to third base. Boaz Harper fielding and getting rid of it immediately, helping his pitcher out. Grayson King needing 2 more outs. And then the Aggies will have one more shot at it.
Alford rips one, leaping grab over at second by Acevedo. That ball kind of died down in a hurry. It looked for sure like that was going to be a base hit, and it just got to the edge of the infield and went shoom, right down.
Yeah, kind of maybe jammed him a tad bit on the inner part of the plate. Thought it was going to maybe sneak over his head, but Acevedo making a great athletic jump there.
That's one of those that if Acevedo could have easily given up on just looking at it off the bat, but it it ends up dying down, so good job by him to stay active after it. Henry Alcapab will step in here to pinch hit. Nobody on, 2 outs. King's first pitch catches the inside corner there for strike 1.
Well, 10-1 ball game. Great to see Coach Kennedy mix in a few other guys and put some guys in for some ABs.
Takes that one, and the count goes to 0-2.
Everybody who's in these dugouts, man, they don't put in all these hours
for nothing. A hard hit ball over towards short. JT Taylor fields and fires it across. It's a 3-up, 3-down. Top of the ninth inning for Grayson King. Aggies down to their final 3 outs. Up next here on FloCollege. Bottom of the ninth inning here at War Memorial Stadium in Greensboro. Corey Lima, Ryan Stone here with you. Cade Mustard back out on the mound here for Elon. He went 3-up, 3-down in the 8th inning and now trying to finish off the win here tonight for Elon. He'll have to do it against the heart of the order for the Aggies. Tyler Smith, Bruce Weish, and Savoy Edwards due up.
Well, Cade Mustard and Grayson King, 2 guys on both teams getting a chance to toe the bump, try to get some outs for their team, have come in and done a fine job. Cade Mustard following the starting performance of Brian Strange, and then Grayson King battling out of a jam in the top of the 7th, where he had bases loaded, no outs. Was able to only relinquish 1 run. So, again, as a former pitcher, I like to talk about these relievers, these guys that typically don't get a lot of shine.
Tyler Smith swinging at the first one, sends a smoker into the Aggie dugout. I don't think that one hit anybody. 0-1 count. Smith is 2 for 3 so far tonight. Average up to 292 on the season.
Well, tonight it appears if the Aggies aren't able to score 9 runs here, they're going to have to go into tomorrow, down 1. They need to really get 2 from Elon, the Elon Phoenix tomorrow, to kind of even the series up this year. They did win the Friday night game at Elon a couple weeks ago, but definitely needing both games tomorrow to have any hopes of staying in contention for that CAA tournament.
1-1. This is outside. And the count goes to 2-1 on Tyler Smith.
You know, Tyler Smith, Bruce Weiss, JT Taylor. Again, you know, the freshman trio from last year really kind of picking it up here in the middle part of the season. Aggies able to put together a 3-game win streak, win 4 out of 5, searching for some positivity.
3-1 here to Tyler Smith. Mustard misses upstairs for ball 4. So Tyler Smith gets on for the 3rd time tonight. That'll bring Bruce Weiss to the plate, who's 1 for 3 on the day.
And Bruce Weiss named as an impact player for the weekend. You know, down 9 runs. You know, we'll have another AB. Try to give these Aggie fans something to be excited about going into the doubleheader tomorrow.
That pitch misses up for ball 1.
So Cade Mustard, it's not over yet. Needing to bear down here. Getting behind the first 2 Aggie batters of the inning. Takes a break from the mound to refocus.
That pitch fouled back. Count goes to 2-1.
So 2-0 count, up 9 runs. Mustard goes right at Weiss. Getting the first strike of the count.
Ripped by Bruce Weiss, but he hits it right at Alford in center field. Tough break there for Bruce Weiss, and it's 1 away.
Well, you know, the Phoenix have aligned defensively tonight in perfect position, so trying to say, hey, Dr. Lima, you don't know what you're talking about with these defensive alignment shifts. We know what we're doing.
Savoy Edwards now will step in. He's 0 for 3 on the night. Runner on first, 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a right center gapper. And Jackson Alford was standing right there in the right center gap. So defensive alignments have proven effective for the Phoenix tonight. Savoy Edwards, last opportunity for some fireworks.
This is low and in. The count goes to 2-0 here on Savoy Edwards.
So Cade Mustard getting behind once again. Two-0 count. Let's see if he goes right at Edwards.
Right there over the heart of the plate for strike 1. 2-1 count to Edwards.
That wasn't that much of a hitter, Ryan.
No kidding.
I mean, in high school I was, but once you get to college. But 2-0.
You mean you weren't Shohei Ohtani? 2-1. Not the only pitcher that can hit. Count goes to 2-2.
It's been a while since you've seen a guy like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but yeah, 2-0 counts. I definitely was trying to swing out of my shoes, man. Do something impressive. Barrel one up. Even count here.
2-2. Savoy Edwards lifts one back out towards the left field, hooking and out of play. Count will stay at 2-2. Bounce back into play after hitting those cinder block bleachers.
Yeah, old school.
Count stays at 2-2.
War Memorial Stadium, home of Aggie football until the early 80s. A lot of baseball, a lot of football played out here on these grounds.
2-2. Misses low for ball 3. Count stays now full here to Savoy Edwards. The runner on first and 1 out.
So Savoy Edwards having some really patient ABs. I think this might be his 3rd full count of the evening. So
Edwards chops one towards second. They'll get the force at second, no play at first. And it's now 2 away.
So quick turn to second base. Tyler Smith gathers his equipment. Yeah, Savoy Edwards, taller guy but can move, able to. And there was a slight exchange there, unable to get it out of the mid.
JT Taylor, who's 0 for 3 on the day now, will stand in. Runner on first, 2 outs. Takes that one on the inside corner for strike 1. Cade Mustard has gone 1 2/3 in relief and is mostly clean. Walked 1 guy.
Getting a chance to come in, and
Taylor lifts one back out towards left field. That one's going back, and it is gone. A 2-run blast for JT Taylor here in the top of the 9th. Pulls the Aggies within a touchdown. But that's a good sign and good sight from JT Taylor, who has struggled this season. That's his first home run.
Well, he just put a great swing on that last pitch. Again, sometimes it's happened to me before. You're up 9 runs, you got 2 outs, you just kind of want to throw a strike. Cade Mustard letting that one get a little too much of the plate, facing one of those named impact guys. And JT Taylor just putting a monstrous swing, hitting one deep to left with authority.
Gomez will step in now. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Pitch misses up for ball 1.
So Cade Mustard 1 out away from finishing this game off.
Gomez takes inside, and it's a 2-0 count.
Gives up a 2-run bomb to one of the named impact players on that Aggie roster.
Gomez, we'll say it hit the bat, I believe.
Yeah.
Strike 1.
Looked like he was trying to swing, and the ball just came in on his hands.
I think that's what they called.
Yeah.
It says 3-0 on the scoreboard, but I thought he came out and touched the bottom of the bat. Yeah, 2-1. He just gave the signal. There's a 2-1. Hits one towards the hole that will make it through into right field. Back-to-back hits for the Aggies. And that'll bring Boaz Harper to the plate, who's 1 for 3 on the day.
Well, Luis Gomez, again, has just, been striping the baseball for the last week or so, couple weeks. Aggies getting some offense going. It might be a little too late, but demonstrating that they are going to finish the game professionally and get their swings.
That ball gets away from the catcher, and Gomez will slide over to second.
They're going to get their reps in. Again, we've seen it. I've said it before. Watching some of those games, NFL games, you see teams, kind of out of the game in the fourth quarter, but they're, they still kind of go through their reps.
Harper takes a big cut there for strike 1.
So the Aggies trying to finish strong here in game 1.
1-1. Harper, another big cut. Count goes to 1-2.
So Boaz Harper with 1 strike left.
1-2 goes down swinging for strike 3, and that will wrap it up. Elon takes game 1 of the 3-game weekend series 10-3 over North Carolina A&T. They'll play 2 tomorrow. For my partner Corey Lima, I'm Ryan Stone. We'll talk to you tomorrow here at War Memorial Stadium at 1 p.m. right here on FloCollege.
See you tomorrow, everybody.